Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, Starship 6 pushes the envelope ever further. Boom XB-1 reaches new heights in Flight 8. Spirit bites the bullet and files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. Starship 6 pushes the envelope ever further. With President-elect Donald Trump in attendance to see his buddy Elon Musk do his thing, Starship 6 launched on time Tuesday afternoon with a spectacular but not 100% successful result. The much-anticipated attempt to catch the booster in the massive Mechazilla chopsticks was called off shortly after in-flight separation for reasons yet unexplained, but it was brought in for a controlled landing in the ocean near where it launched from, with no ill result to anyone. Starship 5 was previously successful while pushing the tolerances for that recovery as well, but the tolerances for the chopsticks recovery are reportedly very tight. Starship, on the other hand, went on its merry way and did very well. Starship's upper stage flew the same suborbital trajectory as the previous flight test, with a precision splashdown in the Indian Ocean, with a great video of the touchdown. An additional objective for this flight was the successful in-space burn using a single Raptor engine, further demonstrating the capabilities required to conduct a ship deorbit burn prior to orbital missions. Several thermal protection experiments and operational changes tested the limits of Starship's capabilities and generated additional flight data. Future ships, starting with the vehicle plan for the 7th flight test, will fly with significant upgrades. More details to follow when released. And after the break, soldiers caught knocking boots in Apache cockpit.
The legendary BD-4-seat program is building an exciting future for those who want a rugged 4-seat family flyer with a proven history. The SureWings program produces a complete kit and builder assist program that gives you everything you need to be flying a BD-4CS in record time. For conventional kit builders, BD Aviation has parts, partial kits, and full kits for the 190-mile-per-hour BD-4C that has logged thousands of hours. Visit SureWings.com and BDAviation.com for more details.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Soldiers caught knocking boots in Apache cockpit. A pair of allegedly drunk British soldiers were caught in the middle of some extracurricular activities in the cockpit of an Apache attack helicopter. The bizarre incident was filed in 2016 but only recently became public. The chopper was involved in a routine maintenance event when ground crews were on their way to put weather covers over it and noticed some strange noises and movements. The report states, quote, "It became apparent that the rear cockpit was occupied by two people engaged in sexual intercourse. Both were naked from the waist down, the male in uniform, the female in civilian attire. They were ordered to exit the cockpit and get dressed. Both parties were serving soldiers, and both showed symptoms of intoxication," end quote. Quantis A380 logs 34 flights with tool stuck in engine. An Airbus A380 operated by Qantas Airways took 34 flights with an over 4-foot-long nylon rod lodged in one of its engines. The tool, which is used to rotate a compressor in the engine during borescope inspections, was accidentally left behind in routine maintenance. Officials from the Australian Transport Safety Bureau reported that the tool was put in the engine during a 3-day scheduled check at LAX. The aircraft was taken in on December 6, 2023, and released back into service on December 8th. Southwest Airlines flight shot during departure from Dallas. A Southwest Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 8 was struck by gunfire while preparing to depart from Dallas Love Field on November 15th. Local police are investigating the incident and no injuries have been reported. Around 10 p.m., Southwest Flight 2494 was getting ready to take off when, quote, "a bullet apparently struck the right side of the aircraft under the flight deck," end quote. The flight returned to the gate and safely deplaned its 99 passengers. The runway was temporarily closed to allow police investigation and has now reopened for use. 3 plucked from the water near Kayak Island, Alaska. A U.S. Coast Guard MH-60 Jayhawk helicopter crew from Coast Guard Air Station Sitka recovered all 3 survivors from the water about 58 miles east of Kayak Island and transported them safely to Yakutat. The sailors were aboard a fishing vessel in the eastern Gulf of Alaska when they lost power after experiencing an electrical fire. The captain had deployed the vessel's anchor but continued to drift and was at risk of running aground. Well, that's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Boom XB-1 reaches new heights in Flight 8. Boom Supersonic XB-1 took its 8th flight test on November 16th. It was able to reach a new max altitude of over 25,000 feet and operate safely without using its stability augmentation system. The flight lasted for a total of 54 minutes and was flown by Boom Supersonic's chief test pilot Tristan Geppetto Brandenburg. The aircraft leveled off at 25,040 feet, over 2,000 feet higher than its previous 23,015-foot record set in Test 7. The primary goal of Test 8 was to ensure that the aircraft handled safely in the case of a stability augmentation system failure at high speeds. Brandenburg got XB-1 up to Mach 0.82, or around 487 knots, before powering off the system. Boom reported that the aircraft maintained safe handling characteristics, allowing the program to continue progress toward supersonic speeds. XB-1 reportedly has 2 tests left on the subsonic roster before going supersonic. This milestone is expected by the end of the year. Flight 8 was carried out just 11 days after number 7. This test marked a new top speed of 499 knots for XB-1. The team also performed tests on the aircraft's flutter excitation and cockpit pressurization systems. After these messages, Spirit bites the bullet and files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Welcome back. Spirit bites the bullet and files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Spirit Airlines has finally filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. This follows a series of mounting losses, with the recent failed JetBlue merger deal being the cherry on top. The low-cost carrier has had 2 major deals fall through in the last couple of years. In 2022, Spirit and Frontier announced a plan to merge. However, only 2 months after the reveal, JetBlue sweetened the deal with a $3.8 billion offer. This led Spirit to shut down talks with Frontier and proceed to organize a tie-up with JetBlue. Things were looking up for the airline until the U.S. DOJ blocked the deal in March 2024. This moment sparked speculation of Spirit filing for bankruptcy, though the carrier decided to hold off and attempt to recover. In October, Spirit announced it was planning to sell multiple jets and issue an unspecified number of layoffs. It then revived talks with Frontier in hopes to finally get a merger to go through. It didn't take long for Frontier to ditch the acquisition efforts and leave Spirit to fend for itself. Within a week, Spirit announced it would be filing for Chapter 11 and entering a deal with bondholders to reduce debt. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.